Penn State football churning out a month's worth of news in just a few days. So we can't save all of this for the BWI live show, and we've been trying to be selective about what happens here on the YouTube channel, given that everybody is working so hard to confirm all this information, to give our subscribers at Blue White Illustrated their full attention. But we do want to make sure that we're having these large conversations, and when something big like Tom Allen leaves for Clemson after 1 year, we have a conversation about it. And Nate Bauer, senior insider here and senior editor for Blue White Illustrated, joining me now to talk about the breaking news today. A couple of different topics that have extrapolated themselves throughout the last couple of 48 hours or so. So, Nate, let's start with what has this last 4 days been like since the team got back from the Orange Bowl in Florida?
Yeah, there's a lot to sort out, kind of quickly, right? It's an accelerated timeline from normal. Everybody has a decision to make, right? Everybody, I've repeated this before, but everybody's kind of the star of their own show. And so, the things that were done in advance of all of this, the college football playoff run, to have Drew Allard back, you knew that. You knew Zachy Wheatley, but there's a lot of guys who haven't. And so outside of the guys that it's kind of funny seeing the announcements, right, of guys who have run out of eligibility, but
they still need their moment in the sun, right? Like everyone wants their moment on social media in the sun. I would do the same thing. I don't, like you said, I don't begrudge anybody that moment.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But Jalen Reed obviously did that on Sunday, and so did Devon J. Thomas, right? So there's just a bunch of that. I got back from the basketball game, and there was, look, I'll just take you through my process. Saturday, I was alerted to Tom Allen as being a person of interest for the vacancy at Clemson. It didn't feel, there wasn't an urgency to it necessarily, even though I know that these things move kind of quickly. By Sunday afternoon, but kind of the end of the basketball game, there was a kind of a random tweet out there in the ether. Somebody from the Clemson side of things that put that out there, right? Put that notion out into the world. And so I followed up on it. And at that point, it became pretty apparent, and that's stuff that we had in the Blue White Illustrated message board, the Lions Den on Sunday night. If you are not a subscriber, please join us. Blue White Illustrated subscribers were all aware of the pending nuptials of Clemson football and Tom Allen on on Sunday night. Then obviously Monday morning, it became a national thing, right? ESPN came out. Pete Thamel had that this was very, very serious, and it was just a matter of time. And that's kind of where we're at, right? Is that he is it's all but buttoned up, right? It is Penn State is proceeding as though this is a done deal, right? Penn State is already looking for new defensive coordinators, so that's kind of where that it's at.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that I ask you the right questions here, because we haven't rehearsed this, and Nate did some great reporting at BlueWhiteIllustrated.com to give you the reasons and decisions behind that. Lateral move, right, is the first thing that comes to mind. Clemson, Penn State, ACC, Big Ten. Penn State's now a college football playoff team. You can say that. They've been in the Final Four. Obviously, Clemson has won national championships, but this would be a lateral move. So what do you know of the decision-making process, the counteroffers, money involved, any of those things to retain or to say thank you for your services, which is ultimately where they landed? I guess, what do you want to share here about what you know of all of those factors that go into making a decision to move to Clemson?
Yeah, I wrote a story for the site that kind of details a lot of that. And I think that what people need to understand, and this is applicable to civilians, right? Like us in the normal world, decisions about career paths are not isolated to the person whose career it is.
Yeah.
And so you are taking on the input of your wife. You are taking on the input of your family, right? And the people around you,
Yep.
and just kind of how, like, where do you want to live? And so the overwhelming sentiment, and this was true on Sunday, just as it is on Monday, the Allen family wants to live in the Carolinas. They have 2 adult daughters that live in the Carolinas. My understanding is, and as you would expect, like, this is where I kind of feel weird, right? Grandchildren, right, that's a thing.
We're so
like
used to talking about like the politics and the X's and O's, and then when you're talking about family, it feels very different. This is a very different conversation than we normally have, but it is one, as you pointed out, that everyone has that conversation with their family about their lives. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
It's also one of those things where I think for Tom Allen, and look, like, I enjoyed my interactions with Tom Allen. I think he's a genuine guy. I don't think that he is not the same thing as Manny Diaz in the sense of their career trajectories. He's done the head coaching gig. This is not a head coaching offer. He understands. We had a conversation this summer. He understands the limitations of really who can win in today's college football based on NIL and support and all of those administrative things. So he doesn't have to go back to that. That's not what he's looking for. And so at this point, if you want to continue to be a coach, a college football coach, and that's a defensive coordinator, I understand the notion of lateral moves, and this is something that James Franklin has talked about previously. You don't want somebody to leave for a lateral move when the lateral move is a climb to the top, right? And does Penn State want this? No, of course not. You don't want to run through your 3rd defensive coordinator in 4 years. That you have to hire another one. But it's just a different set of circumstances where that's not in play. It's simply a matter of, is Clemson a nationally relevant program with an opportunity to win at the highest levels? Yes, it is. And we can have, fans, media, we can have all kinds of conversations about the decline of Clemson from its height. That's fine. But they're still one of 2 powerhouses in the ACC. Yeah. They will continue to be that.
And they will be relevant the more they go into the portal, and the fit. Just quickly, the fit with Clemson and Tom Allen makes a lot of sense. They run a similar style defense. They have a similar idea of hybridization of that slot player. So these things are a very good fit. Culturally, good fit, I think, as well. I guess I just want to talk a little bit about what I expected from Tom Allen, and this is something we're going to get into on the live show when we talk about the final game that he coached for Penn State. I expected more. And I don't necessarily mean performance. I don't necessarily mean the output of the defense. I expected more variety. And they became a very, I don't want to say simple or plain, because that is a negative connotation, straightforward in a lot of ways defensively. They did a lot of things that were present at Penn State that are common in college football, but they did not have what I was expecting from Tom Allen in terms of maybe some of the exoticness of those coverages. And it kind of spelled it out at the beginning in spring football of, you do those things to compensate, but what if you don't need to compensate? And what Tom Allen's defense became at Penn State was a pretty traditional man coverage team that did not, I think, I missed that spark of creativity from Tom Allen's defense because I think that's what made it difficult. And so when you simplified things and made it a little more streamlined, it kind of just faded into the pack. And so, I mean, I guess I'm trying not to pass judgment on somebody who knows more about defensive football than I do by light years. But at the same time, there are some of those acknowledgments that, again, like we said, we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow. So
yeah, just very quickly. And this is a surface level thing. This is not to be read into too much. But Tom Allen's faith is a huge part of his life, and there is no football coach in America. Well, maybe Spencer Danielson at Boise State, but no other coach
Yeah.
in America who wears his faith so outwardly as Dabo Swinney. So you would anticipate him feeling a certain amount of comfort in how he will mesh culturally at Clemson moving forward.
Yep.